What is up, boys and girls? Welcome back to another cast. We are in the ECL 2 finals between the Guardians and the Semi-FF gang. It's the number one tier players at it for a play all 7 series. That's right, 7 games back to back between these two titans. Spawning to the northeast, playing for the Guardians. It's Rohbrot playing as the Chinese. Dennis is taking Hausa for game number 1. He's spawning down to the southwest in the colour blue. Now, I haven't actually seen a Rohbrot series in ages. I've kind of always been tactically busy since when he's been playing, but he's been begging me to cast his games. I said, Rohbrot, it's okay, my friends. I actually do have time tonight to watch this one, so I should be able to get through. Momentary lag in the game. Hopefully this should walk itself over. But I said to Rohbrot, yeah, I'd love to cast it. The only problem is, play all 7 series is a long one, so this is going to be an endurance cast for me if I do manage to do this one. I have actually stocked up on food and drinks. I'm already halfway through a big bottle of beer Moretti, and I'm looking forward to this series as much as you are. Just come off the back of a exciting final game there between Lionheart and Risotto. Make sure you check that game out if you haven't already. Incredible. I'll leave it as that. I'll let you work that one out. But for this series between the two number 1 players in both the teams, the Guardians and Semi-FF gangs, we see Dennis playing as the Hausa. And this is a strong civ on this map. You gotta remember, this is Manchuria. There is livestock on the map. There are yaks littered across the map. And there are 2 spawns of double yaks. Sometimes one to the south, one to the north, but a couple of single yaks elsewhere. You gotta remember, Hausa with their Cavalry Explorer, they can run around the map very quickly. There is 7 yaks and 2 Slanker Cattle remaining in base. So a huge amount of extra income there from the influence of the cattle, and so much more fattening up at the livestock pen. These can be transferred for wood, for gold. Could also be eaten for food. I think a lot of players forget about that. Could become pivotal at a later point in the game. Rohbrot, though, playing as China, also has a decent... Oh, don't do that. Oh, that's awkward, that is. Why is he eating the axe this early in the game? I don't like that. And he's only with 2 villagers. Consulate coming down. Interesting to see what build order he wants to go for, or certainly what consulate he may wants to go for behind this. There's a debt squad and Thanger. Current meta is to go for the French consulate, but French consulate does have its pros and cons and risks versus age 2 play. Does House like to go age 2? They have potential. They can go for a tower on their Kingdom Builder card and go for their Fulani Archers. Incredible. Fulani Archer, Javelin Rider dominates anything that China can do in the second age, it must be said, and that might be an interesting way for how they want to play this. But with this many yaks, there's 10 yaks and 3 Slanker Cattle. There's so many cattle that there's actually not enough slots to accommodate all of them on the pen, and this cattle just arrived from the shipments, just chilling. He can't get in on the action. I think this is going to benefit Dennis the longer the game goes on. It's just so much potential here, all providing influence. 0.8 from the yaks, that's 0.8 influence from the second. The sand cattles have a little bit more as well, 0.15, so about 1.2, 1.3 influence per second there from the cattle. And that's just going to help push some of the age up technologies and shipments a little bit further. Already having 180, but I think the main point there is actually the transfer. Selling them on for wood and gold is very, very prolific here for Hausa in this game so far. There's an Explorer working on a 80 wood treasure. Managed to pick that up. Also using the Chaos ability to let the Tigers fight to the death, or the Lions, and then moves in to clean up the reserves. Not too bad. A 4th villager here from Rohbrot. Please tell me it's not just a herding villager. He's actually got plans for this. I mean, there is a back hut that he may want to go for. I don't like this forward herding villager. The only reason I say that is because it's a long way for the animals to go, and by the time you get the animals here, you take a shot, they will back herd all the way back to where this villager is. It's kind of risky, it's kind of not worth it, and you're slowing down your age up timing to the 3rd age, which is the critical factor when playing China. Games are won and lost by how clean your build to the 3rd age is, and it's just gone from market, which I don't like. He's going for civil servants again. I don't like it's 150 resources for 5% on all resources, but you're not gathering wood in age 2. You're not gathering much gold in age 2. You're mainly on food. Sending 700 gold. He was sending 700 gold, but he would only have like 600 of food when it arrives. Like, he will not have enough resources. He's at all the yaks already, and this build order, I do not think is thought through well enough. I don't think it's how you'd want to play this situation, and I have to call it as it is. I wouldn't want to play this position. I think Dennis taking an early tactical lead there with the age 1 scouting and all the livestock provides in base university, getting all the extra influence that provides. Let's look at Dennis's card. Card number 1 will be the Palace Builder. Palace is the Hausa Fortress. Going to drop it down defensively. Again, doesn't need to. He knows he's got back herd. He's got a forward herd nearby. He's got all his livestock markets as well, looking pretty happy. Yeah, it's just no rush here from Dennis to do anything outside his base. A couple of these Tengu shrines looking, you know, Shaolin shrines, pardon me. Sometimes Tengu spawns this map. There's a great game Lion played versus Twitch I Am Zage, where Lion went Tengu shrine, CDB rush all in to secure the game. Rohbrot. There are a couple of civs you do not let you explore out the base. One is China, the other is Malta, and to lose this amount of HP on Explorer is brutal. Does force the Sentry call. Obviously, Rohbrot can call Transcendence, and he has. The Explorer's back to full HP. The only problem is that Transcendence will take a long time until it comes back, and I feel that there may be a point where he might want to call Transcendence, but he's denied himself the ability because he already has called it. Remember, the Explorer gets a lot of HP on the age up anyway, and it doesn't scale exponentially or percentage base. It's a absolute value. So let's say your Explorer, who's currently on 675 HP, only has 10 HP remaining. I think there's a plus 500 HP to the 3rd age. That means the Explorer will age up and get an extra 500 HP on the base as well. So we'll have enough HP to play with. Early Transcendence is not a huge thing, but little things matter. And little details can win or lose games, it has to be said. Chang Pikeman now being called, Disciples being called, but there's no reason that Dennis has to take this fight. He can just back this. Or, well, I say that, but Dennis is going pretty aggressive age 2. So, interesting to see what is the Palace going to do. A little bit of a UI issue here from the game, taking its time to load. Irish Brigadiers, Magadai, and levied gunners potential. Fulani archers do move in on the villagers, push them back. Okay, this makes sense. Rohbrot going for the skirmisher age up, so sends Pike to cover. The problem is there's nothing to deal with the Fulani archers as it is at the moment. He should be in the next stage by now, but it hasn't quite happened. It's going to take a little bit of time. Does have enough resources to call his next batch of Minutemen, the rifles, so maybe we'll be looking for the age up to come in before sending it. Forward Village will go down, but will be repaired back at base, so it's not the end of the world. Currently not in consulate. We'll go British when he does have enough export, but the age up. There's only the only spawn point is from the town centre, and there's a lot of cavalry nearby. He has to go in. Transcendence would be amazing if he could call it right now on this fight, but he hasn't got Transcendence. He's called it way too early previously. Will Dennis take this fight? I think he can. I think he can get some value from this. Fulani archers working on the pikemen. Sentries at 1 HP. They got called way too early, and they got Transcendence. Cavalry on top of the skirmishers. Da Zhao, the Chinese monk, full HP, actually doing a very good job of doing a very good job of avoiding a taking on this monk. He's kind of moving around, but the raiders on top of the skirmishers now. British consulate being used, but the Chang Dao is coming behind, looking for the Chang Dao shipment, not going for intervention or fire meteors. Further raiders coming behind, and the lack of Transcendence in the 3rd age is really hurting Rohbrot here. Dennis moving in with the raiders, but the thing is, raiders, they're good cavalry, high range resist, they're like step rise. They're also very good at sieging. 3 rate of 5, 26 attack. Village is going down, and this is what we say about China is if you lose your village population, don't have housing, it's risky. What's other risky? Chang Dao pop from the village, but that will get denied. Oh, does change it in time. Rohbrot missed the quick fingers. Fulani archers will cover the raiders' escape, poke down the Chang Daos, and most of the army does survive. Dennis still in the 2nd age playing. Actually eating quite a lot of the cow as well. some of them are quite fully fattened. Yeah, fully fattened cattle still gather influence on the livestock pen, even though they don't need to be there anymore. And looking at the buy exchange rates, he's actually used quite a lot of the value, livestock value at 21%. He needs to let them recharge quite a bit. So Dennis really invested the cattle into this age 2 push, and it's kind of working out for him. Rohbrot, he's not aged up the porcelain tower. He does not have that passive wood income. Does actually have quite a bit of wood left over. Throwing down the War Academy, but I can tell you he is not going to be able to train a single unit for a long time. There's no way Rohbrot can afford any batch training. That trading post has already gone down behind this. And I think Dennis can just control the game behind, but has to look out for the unit shipments that Rohbrot may call. There is a lot of in-base gold, so could save it for Manchu. Meteor Hammer is also very prolific and dangerous. Can happily take on Fulani archers, raiders. All Minutemen have been gone. Not enough export here for British redcoats, but can call intervention. For some reason, it's got Iron Cat Prince's army. Just imagine if that's the Bayang army. I feel that the 8 Step Riders, 8 Keshiks will do very nicely versus this type of force. But looking for the 12 Changdao, 2 Flamethrowers. But for 800 food, that's probably not too bad of a trade as well. All flying... 4th Iron Flail is probably the only player in the meta to have that card in deck. It's kind of interesting. Does actually work quite nicely, but village goes down back to 30 population, and Rohbrot's just not training any vills. He can't do anything behind this. He's waiting for the Meteor Hammers to time it with the Changdaos, but can't even get enough resources to call disciples from the Explorer. Meteors do come out. Has to go back with them, and the village does go down behind. War Academy still standing there. And now Rohbrot is begging, he's wishing that was another village. He needs the population. And yeah, it's multiple factors have led up to this. And actually the timing with the pikemen, the skirmage up, some of the Minutemen, quite nice, but the missing the Transcendence. Okay, Transcendence is available now, but with a limited amount of forces, it's not going to matter. And I'd like to think that Dennis is smart enough that he doesn't actually have to end this game now. He's doing some massive damage, but as long as he can keep the reinforcements... Oh, okay, he's got a lot of reinforcements coming. I take that back. He's got a lot of reinforcements. And especially these musketeers with the splash attack. Very high HP. Just very solid all-rounders. And taking over the role of the Fulani archers. The raiders, it's... The only thing which can really come back into the game, maybe, is a Manchu shipment. The problem is, hasn't got the gold. Hasn't got the population. Hasn't got the... shipment for this as well. Market comes down. I guess he wants to buy for some wood for another village. Now losing the consulate. Risotto saying Keister must be sweating so hard right now. I need to check in what the team score at the end of this game is. Flying Crow does come out behind. However, Flying Crows versus units in the third age is not great. It's good versus artillery, good versus buildings. It has a very high base attack. It's a very low, relatively low splash. It seems to not do very well versus other units. Let's look at the stats. 228 with a 4 radius, but no multipliers versus infantry. So it actually does less than a falconet versus infantry, and that's where people notice the difference. But gets a double kill there. It's a little bit of kill. Maybe damage capped there. Changdao's in melee. Transcendent does come out to keep the Changdao alive a little bit longer. Potentially could have timed it better, but I'm actually happy with that. Flying Crow has managed to get some exchanges going. All in all, not too bad, but the situation still remains dire. That back herd, which... See, Rohbrot was trying to move in that forward herd, but that back herd was the one he wanted to try and target. Still way out of range. Advanced consulate coming down. Oh. Oh no. I mean, yeah, you might get cheaper spies or cheaper petards, but I don't think Rohbrot knows what the advanced consulate... Without sounding like that person, I don't think Rohbrot knows what the advanced consulate does. Is he going to... Yeah, he almost thought about changing, but yeah, it's just too late to change. I guess he has to wait for redcoats. He can call in now. Intervention can call in now, but the thingy's gone down. Everything's just gone down, and the game has been called. GG. Game number 1 there. Going to Dennis in this play all 7 series. And Rohbrot, not cut. After seeing that age 1, I'm not surprised to see how that game panned out. Once Dennis put the pressure, very good. But the thing with Hausa is best Dragoons in the game, age 2. probably best archer in the second age as well. High rate of fire, strong multipliers versus heavy infantry, whose pikemen had no chance. The raiders with the siege, incredible, and forced early transcendence there from Rohbrot. I just controlled the game and got so much cattle remaining on the livestock market. Kind of felt like GG in age 1, and I know I've done a video like that before, but it still feels so strong when you have so many livestocks as Hausa. Right, I'm going to move on to the next game, guys. I need to play catch up. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.